It's not the amount you give that matters, but it's the amount you give that matters. A lot of us are confused as to how much to give, when we should give, all of that questions. There's a part in the Bible where Jesus was in the temple and he was looking at the offerings being given. Bunch of rich guys, they were throwing in a lot of money. But there was this poor widow that had, the Bible says, only 2 mites. Guess that's a few cents. And she gave her few cents. And Jesus said that that poor widow gave more than all those rich men. Was that so? Jesus recognized that that poor widow gave out of the faith that she has in God. That poor widow could not see where her next meal was coming from. The Bible says, Jesus specifically says, that she gave all that she had. That poor widow didn't see where her next money was going to come from, but she gave all that she had. The just shall live by faith. The just walk by faith and not by sight. The rich men, they, according to Jesus, gave their money out of the wealth that they had. They could see how much money they have, and they knew how much money they would have left after they have given. So it was easy for them to give their money in comfort. Giving sometimes will hurt. In fact, the test is even more harder when you give when you have nothing left. It's not how much you give that matters, but it's how much you give that matters. It matters based on your resources. Giving and the amount you give matters based on the resources that you have. If you have $1,000 and somebody asks you for $10 and you said to them, here is $5. You probably can go ask somebody else for the other 5 or borrow it. There are persons who actually boast on things like that. Well, I helped him with 50% of what he was asking for. That's good, right? Yeah. That would mean you only help the person halfway. You had $1,000 and you chose to give that person only $5 when he asked you for 10. That means even though you helped him with 50% of what he was asking for, the resources that you had was $1,000, which means you only used 0.5% of the money that you had, of the resources that you had to help this person who was asking for $10. Did you help him out a bit? Sure. In fact, he probably was really, really happy that you helped him out 50% of what he was asking for. However, you didn't help yourself much. Luke 6, verse 38 says, the measure in which you give, that is the measure in which you shall receive. So yeah, you helped him out. But you did yourself no favor. Would you want someone to help you out 50% of the way when they could have helped you out completely? Now, say you're rich. Yes, you're rich, that's fine. But things do happen. What if you're driving and you got stuck in the middle of nowhere? Your tires went out. What if somebody driving past after you're waiting for 2 whole days in the middle of nowhere? You're driving past, you're so happy. They stop. Hey, how are you? You're looking for help. And they say to you, hey, let me help you with that. Here are some tools. I helped you out halfway. Now, all you have to do is wait for the next driver to give you a new tire. That's halfway, right? In fact, let's just say the person did not give you the tools, but they said, I'm going to offer up a prayer for you. And they pray for you. And vroom, they drive on by. After 2 days in the middle of nowhere, they helped you out halfway. The resources that they had was a car, but they chose to help you out halfway. That probably could be the measure in which you had given to the person. That $5 you gave, that was probably the measure that you were dealt with. Let's look at it on the other side of the story. You have $15. Somebody asks you for $20. You say to that person, I can't give you all 20, but you decide to give them $12 out of the $15 that you have because you have to take care of your family or you have some bills to take care of, whatever it might be. You have helped that person more than 50% of what they needed. You, however, gave 75, more than 75% of the resources that you had. And that is commendable. Now, I'm not saying the person who has $1,000 must give 50% of their resources to help someone who just asked for $10. However, if you have the ability, the resources to complete a need completely, fully, don't just help them halfway, help them fully. It's not how much you give, but it's how much you give based on the resources that you have. God looks at the heart. That poor widow, when she gave all that she had, she genuinely wanted to give all that she had. She had faith that God would provide. For someone to choose to give more than 75% of the resources that they have to help out somebody who is in need, that is commendable. God looks at your heart. It's not the amount that you give that matters, but it's the amount you give based on the resources that you have.